been here how long and literally can't do anything.
Because we're live. Whoopsie.
It's not quite yet.
Well, it already says live.
Oops.
It's okay. Caught on camera.
We'll just edit that out.
Good afternoon.
Rebecca is here today.
Okay, sitting right here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that you or Nolan?
Yeah. So I'll let Nolan give it Tyler. Tyler was about Nolan.
Nothing here.
Yes. This will be Becca.
Oh, I didn't know if you want to sit by Tyler.
I don't think I've ever seen many jeans before.
Hello.
It's the final countdown.
Thank God.
Da-da-da-da. Oh,
You didn't see that.
how long is inauguration gonna be?
Well, I'm running the show and I just want to go home.
So it's less than an hour is what I'm hearing?
That's what I'm hoping.
Okay. That'd be greatly appreciated.
I think
got a
we
lot
have
of-
other stuff happening beyond the inauguration though, so like awards and stuff.
That's before the inauguration.
Oh, okay, never mind. Ignore me.
So inauguration starts at 5.
Well,
I told my
like
professor
the whole
like, he's
ceremony starts
nominated
at
for
5. We're doing awards first, and then we'll.
Remember last time I like skipped a
Are those all the
teacher was
senators?
nominated for an award, so I was kind of sick of it.
That will be at the banquet.
Yeah, that'll be at the banquet. I forgot.
Should we just do April Senator of the Month at the banquet?
No, we're gonna do March and April because we have no March.
That's right.
So
Wait,
two awards that we can worry less about.
I have one for the
This
one.
chair is really weird.
Hey, you already gave
Like-
one.
What awards are given out
Is
tonight?
it for March or I thought it was for April?
Oh,
But even the seat part is like, go this way.
Yeah, you're right.
Is this
These
student's
ones are ready.
Okay, we're rolling it.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben.
Our YouTube is live. Just want to tell everybody, YouTube is live already.
But it's okay. We can do like floppers and stuff.
Flippers.
Yeah, bloopers, whoppers.
Floppers.
Whatever. Hey, English is not my first
I don't think I've ever
language.
seen
Yeah,
jeans
you're
before.
right.
Mean jeans? It's not jeans.
They look like jeans. Sorry, Andrew.
I don't love the pants. Okay, wait. How does this pen write? Because can I sign with this?
Oh shit, how does it feel
Yeah?
that that's one of the last times you can wear that name
I
tag?
have Sharpie ones.
You don't like this today?
No, it's good. It's just.
That's probably like their best quality pen ever.
The Students United pen?
I responded to the
Yeah.
Their other
So
ones are
good.
so bad.
right away.
I hope you hear that, Grant. I hope you watch this video, Grant.
Well, I just hope our admin of the year shows up this year because our administrator of the.
Definitely gonna be hosting like a teaching seminar.
You got interrupted.
Thing without like
Last best couple of weeks that you can wear that name tag, Rosha.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Also.
I realized that he couldn't get into the res hall.
Oh, there it is. I did put it in there. I was like, where is it?
Oh, no.
Okay, I couldn't speak the American, how do I get them here?
It's a heavy
Because
rain in Montreal.
Question for you about that or something else, I don't remember.
She's gonna try to make poetry.
No way you're a Red Bull fan.
I'm not sure.
Who's a Red Bull fan?
I'm a McLaren fan.
I wish I was a little more hours on the day. I'm a little busy with this. All the
Well, I have it
pressure for
here,
next
so
time.
here.
I'm a Max Verstappen fan.
Thank you.
Who's a fan of Max Verstappen? Come on. Do you like Yuki Tsunoda? It's.
I think you're fine. I think so too.
You like
I
Liam
hope so.
Lawson?
Okay.
I already think you already have this story.
Still, yeah. So, what was that?
I already think.
I'm a big Lando Norris fan.
You'll be fine.
Both
I think
taking
I
it a
can-
B.
You also got yours.
What awards are you on?
There's like so many.
Quote of the year.
All that stuff is at the banquet and to be honest, I was
Down for a change.
I
You were
I
half the
s-
cookbook.
yeah, I'm over half the cookbook.
I just hope our administrator of the year shows up this year because last year our administrator of the year did not show up.
Get it.
He's like getting from both sides.
Somebody had to find out through the reporter, I hear.
Kendra, do you think we're gonna have time for announcements today?
We'll see how fast everything else rolls.
All right. If not, I can just hand these out before.
It's the take back the night,
Yeah.
right?
And then Denise just gave me posters, and she's like, "Give them to people." I'm like, "They're not gonna take them, Denise." Okay.
Take one up in the office.
D Nice. AA Ron.
Denise.
Bulake.
Yes.
There's a
Mr.
QR code
Bean.
version and then a
Oh, okay.
write it down version,
Mhm.
cause the QR code you have to make an account, whereas the other one,
Okay.
give you your account, cause you're busy.
Valid.
Maybe
I
like
will include this in my report for ya.
Well, I was. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll just do it during my.
Thank you. I understand, okay,
It's in the zone.
that makes sense,
Beyond
Yeah.
the zone.
that makes sense, thank
We're
you.
still waiting for folks, so.
Well, yeah, so, yeah, of my different transfer supervisors have been emailing David Cohen for different things. And he kept not getting back to it, but I'm like, well, I can get him to respond to you. And so,
How you doing, Charles?
Are you living on campus next year? No, you aren't? Shoot.
Yeah, that's my apologies.
Do you know what I was gonna ask for?
I don't know.
And I like
Parking pass.
Should we put it in order then?
No, I think I'll pass. I'll be using that as much as I can.
if
Don't
anything,
you
he
have
was
5 of
gonna get
them?
to me big.
Forget allocate that.
Yeah, it's good in there.
Been trying to borrow something like that. 'Cause I remember the college business.
Why the hell did they get to elementary lights?
No, I've been.
She's gonna go down there a little bit.
David Cohen is right there.
No, you're fine.
And also
I
Roshan.
was trying to talk
How's it going?
Roshan.
Going good. I think I'm gonna have.
Roshan, for the parking passes that you get for student government, for like the full parking passes, you get 5 of those, right?
Yes.
One student.
You get 3 for the officers and then 2 for the.
You know,
Amber fries her own.
yeah, well, I'm not gonna be around in Mankato, but if you need any like help.
Get some of that in the budget for.
For sure, I wanna help.
Okay.
There's not enough
I'm
stalls.
here to help you out, so.
You're
We get 3
Yes,
stalls
I need to
and
make
Google
If
a lot of work.
getting the store up and going.
Used to using this too.
Yeah.
What's that? Not yet.
What about the
We're gonna-
senators that
you
don't
have
have
to take a little bit.
The secretary.
We're just gonna have it
Yes, I would take a
cleaners for that first.
Well, actually,
I have 6 pigeons per
Yeah, I
extra
think
one.
it's kinda held back on.
That seems like a good idea.
It'll be,
Like if I have to
Then we have
take,
to
like I
compensate
would rather
them.
see less options, but there has to be 6 people. I would get that.
Okay.
And we can't just reserve that gold lot for.
But I would rather.
Because there's so many other people that use that, like the counseling center, their staff parks there, student activity staff parks there, KSC staff parks there. There's too many staff that parks there.
But once upon a time, I had a
I feel like that
friend
lot's always packed.
but we're
who was
happy
an
we
older
have 3
British
stalls.
chef who had moved to the US to get married and then that didn't work
Yeah.
out.
Did you get
Anyway,
2
he
more
never got a
stalls?
driver's license because he grew up in London and
We
didn't.
did the Flowbird, which are the paid ones, and then there's the
Completely random story.
Okay.
charging.
I'll be happy earlier though. Okay.
There's no room.
Pick senators then.
It's up to you.
I mean, it could be worse, we could only have one parking stall like the recorder.
They have two.
They have two.
Well, they only have two. And they're all the way at the other end.
Are you calling me
Gonna make that
crazy,
zero
Manny?
parking.
Well,
Could be worse, could
We
be
should
like.
cut Senator back.
Go Senator Pay.
You could have.
In that regard, you're also calling our
No, it's because we wanted to save
illustrious
time.
student
Put it
body
on and off
president
and
for
so-
the next 1 hour
oh
and
yeah, you
7
can park in
minutes.
spot 11.
Crazy
Oh.
as well.
I stand by my
Right,
statement.
no, they're asking 24/7, like the executive.
Yeah, that's a no. Even we can't even park. for,
Hey
like,
David, if you wanna
24/7.
hook me up with like a free 24/7 parking pass, I'd greatly appreciate
That's a
that.
guy, very
You can
expensive.
buy one if you get the gold pass.
Oh,
So
Can you give me access to gold passes during faculty,
no.
so I can buy it?
with all the tickets you get, you may be able to afford 2 or 3.
I've only gotten like 4 tickets this year.
Yeah,
And so how much did that add up to? 20?
Actually, I
Less than the
paid
high end.
upwards of like $99 for tickets this year.
Why is the
I'm
camera?
a pothole after you.
Okay.
I'll have to actually take a name on a pothole if you'll engrave it into it. But you have to pay to engrave.
You should
the
name
pothole.
New Armstrong after me.
Yeah, well, that
You want-
might be in the history books, you know.
68 million.
Showstead Hall.
What do we do if you pay for it?
Let's
be here on
go. Hey, YouTube. I'm Charles Hillstead. Nice to meet you.
Right?
That'd be iconic.
Maybe we should rename something at the student government office.
You should rename the president's office Chosted's office.
What is my freaking
Should be this chemistry government office.
Yeah.
If the Zelmer family dishes out a couple tens of thousands of dollars so we can
You can do a motion.
I know I got
motion the family.
Yeah.
Or you can just get a piece of paper.
Can I just motion to demolish Karkowski Commons and renovate it?
No! That's not for another 10 years, brother.
I like that. I actually love it.
Now it's
See, we're at like 5:42.
crumble cookie and something else, but
Rosha, how are you feeling right now?
habit that everything.
You have an hour and 5 minutes.
Don't ask me.
Every day he went
Don't.
after he
If
got.
any of you give me puppy eyes when I'm up there, that's the end.
Why, you gonna cry?
I saw him, and
No.
as soon as I saw him,
Maybe.
started
No.
diving. You had to bring an umbrella, like, because like.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna miss you so much. You have had such a positive impact on my first year of college.
You should never let
This week as a show.
I will
Have to show up
not.
next week, he's a
Like, really sad when I'm told to like someone who's
I have a hard enough time keeping track of my own.
I mean, if you befriend them by giving them
Cut me
food
to
and
4K, bro.
training,
We should play this song.
they, not only will they be your friend, they will teach their
Denise just
children.
gave me posters, and I'm like, okay, Denise, no one's gonna take them.
No, I have to do
You don't have to take them.
Yeah, so basically.
I would, but I don't wanna break it.
Real.
I'm saying.
But I'm doing my final presentation on
We should play that.
the ethical
This was the old language.
stuff around those.
I know, I mean, you were.
Aw, dang.
If we get that, what we can do is.
Are we gonna have an inauguration parade?
So I posted it on Teams, can you see if it's there?
It is,
It is?
in the
Okay.
general chat, and then
Yeah.
I also uploaded it to.
Andrew, you hosting your own inauguration parade?
I think I'll pass for it at the moment.
Don't worry, I can drive my car windows down, cranking music if you want.
I don't think it's something my vibe.
And just before she
I could be like-
gets the
We should get a tortoise.
minutes done.
Yeah, kind of what it's all.
Yeah, no, and it will just roll on the
Absolutely.
campus.
Should I be concerned?
For those of you who are in the room, to make this efficient, open up your Teams, go into 90-second Senate meeting documents, go into agendas, April, and then find out today's date, and then just have that open, so that way all of those documents are there for you to access. One of the resolutions has had an amendment, so that's something that you might wanna look at. April 16, wow, April 16. So just so you have that up there, let me take it. That one.
It's not, I swear I uploaded it.
Okay, it's also.
Yes, they did.
Yep, I already have an email in my watch.
Tricia, how do we get there again?
So if you go into 90-second Senate meeting documents,
Okay,
it's one of the pinned ones, go into agendas,
okay,
April, and then April 16.
got it.
And so if you just have that open, if there is anything that we've missed or anything that we're working on in terms of amendments, we'll be updating those documents live as we go for resolutions, just so we're efficient with time.
Got it.
I do hereby pledge
Allegiance.
to America.
Me PJ.
Thank you, my dear. She told me it was approved, but I never went and got it. To be fair. It's got my name on it. My phone did a thing, and now I have this, and it doesn't fit when my phone
Oh, what a
doesn't.
year.
And I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, what a year.
Yeah, by the way, I had this.
Nobody's giving me puppy eyes.
Oh, I'm giving you puppy eyes.
Can we just all, like, as a Senate, start mogging at bullshit?
Yeah. They all just start saying we're gonna miss them and then I'll start crying.
And then that folder now has the updated resolution with all of the highlights, so.
How's it feel an hour out?
I did get that email from, yes, I got that email from Amber.
Thank you.
That's what.
Do you want me to share it? I'll forward you that email.
Yeah.
Something else.
It's a big time.
We have them here.
Yeah.
I need some minutes to, yeah, I need some minutes. The city and the general. I don't know. It was in high school. I was up on the highlighted things like that.
Oh, it's coming along.
I got all the walls and my shit was just fine to make,
Alrighty, I'm calling this meeting to order at 4:01 PM and we are starting with our land recognition statement. A student government acknowledges that we live, work, and learn in the homeland of the Dakota people whose language frames our institution's name, Minnesota State University, Mankato. And then I'll go into roll call. Senator Leon is on Zoom. Senator Franson. Senator Miucci.
Here.
Senator Prigness is on Zoom. Senator Emke is on Zoom. Senator Ponthe. Senator Bugney. Senator Reyes. Senator Maega.
Here.
Senator Thapa. Senator Mpenga. Senator Lee.
Here.
Senator Dietrich.
Here.
Senator Smith.
Here.
Senator Green. Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Moore.
Here.
Senator Maba is on Zoom.
Okay.
Senator Carter is on Zoom. Senator Karki. Senator Livingston.
Here.
Senator Riggle,
Here.
Senator Colleran,
Present.
Senator Zelmer,
Present.
Senator Ide,
Present.
Senator Hillstead,
Present.
Senator Isaac. I am here, President Narala,
Present.
and Vice President Jay. And we have quorum, so we will move into the rest of our agenda. Is there any amendments to our agenda? Any amendments? Seeing none, is there any dissent to our agenda? Any dissent? Seeing none, the agenda has been approved. So now we move into open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum? Come on up, Cole. We'll have about 5 minutes just because we're on a time crunch for today.
Okay, I don't have anything super drastic or
Okay,
radical to propose today. Other than that, I'm here with Manny and Trenton. We have the resolution for noncompliance, hopefully going through to new business here today. Just want to talk a little bit about that and then also talk about what's been going on with other universities and sort of their struggle with free expression today. So I've come today to oversee the passage of the resolution for noncompliance, which empowers student leadership to proactively anticipate and engage immigrations and customs enforcement should they again seek the abduction and imprisonment of our fellow classmates. Moreover, I will reiterate the objectives of Mavericks for Change and issue a warning to student government and administration here at Minnesota State University. Now, I am confident in the leadership and principles of those gathered here, but we've entered a new chapter in American history where institutions don't come with guarantees and fundamental rights have become negotiable. I ask only that you grant these words your careful consideration. 2 weeks ago, a student was kidnapped outside their home and detained by ICE. No charges were provided for their detainment, no representation granted, nor any indication of their current status. No one knows their name, nor those of the students who were stripped of their visas in the following weeks. The result has been an overwhelming sensation of fear and hopelessness for international students, which our administration has addressed in kind. I want to commend their efforts in underseeing a system-wide transformation in ICE policies and swiftly facilitating an information campaign for at-risk students. It would be foolish, however, to conclude that higher education has prevailed against the incursions of our government. This is only the first struggle our university will endure against the Trump administration and their systematic dismantling of free expression in academia. Universities like Columbia, Harvard, and Yale face invasive measures by our government which place conditions on federal funding, limiting their discourse and curriculum only to viewpoints which reinforce the State Department's idealized depiction of nationalism and imperialism. Soon, our administration will be asked to dismantle DEI programs, stifle student protests, and rewrite history itself, or face repercussions not unlike the Ivy Leaguers which came before. I want to emphasize that capitulation will only advance their mission to destroy resistance in academia. That is sort of the message I have to deliver. I also want to emphasize that Harvard took a roughly, I believe, $3 billion funding cut at the expense of the federal government for the protests that they were having on their campus. And I want to emphasize that that was a decision that they made on behalf of their students. We do not face any kind of leverage under the federal government to the tune of $3 billion. And I hope that our administration can make that kind of decision on our behalf as well as students. So that is all I have to say. I hope to see you guys pass the resolution for noncompliance so that we can show our international community how much they mean to us and how much we are willing to do on their behalf. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment and say thank you for all of your advocacy. While we may fundamentally disagree on a lot of different things, I do commend you for the work that you've done as you support our students and advocate for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for open forum? Alrighty, seeing none, then we have our Dean of the Day, Dr. Chris Corley, who's the Dean of Library and Learning. Yay.
Hi, it's pretty powerful to come after that statement, so I really appreciate it. I want to start by thanking Emily Dittrich for all of her collaboration over the last couple of years. I think a lot of you know that she's been a tireless advocate for course materials affordability, and she's provided extensive input regarding a lot of what we're doing in library and learning, and for the bookstore as well. So thank you very much. There's a visual aid here for you because I want to provide a brief update for what we call phase 2 of the Learning Commons discussions. We've been rolling out these discussions since late February to individual areas, and we have had broader university discussions, and Emily and Andrew were kind enough to have us do a more full-scale 45-minute presentation to the Academic Affairs Council. So I appreciate that as well. But I want to provide all of you with an opportunity to provide feedback. There's a QR code there which has access to the full slide deck, as well as an opportunity for you to provide feedback that we'll take into account as well. This process has really started even before COVID, re-envisioning the library in the 21st century and the kind of services that we could offer. We did deep research into what other libraries are doing. We visited major libraries around the country to see how they were developing Learning Commons. We brought those findings back. We provided a vision for our campus leadership in the spring of 2023. And we were able to get approval from the President's Cabinet to move forward and continue that discussion. Over the last couple of years, we've worked together with our partners to develop a mission, which you see here, as we're building upon what's best of library services with information seeking behaviors that we hope to instill in all of us at the university community, but also help seeking behaviors, particularly focusing on normalizing the utilization of academic learning services that we know will help everybody be successful. So MavPass, accessibility services, tutoring. Think about all these kind of services which can be essential to our success. So we want to bring those services together, not in a management structure per se, but in a student-facing structure, and allow students to be referred to one or the other of these services through coordinated service points. Our partners are here in the list. They include people from partners and organizations from all over the university. So we have a lot of really good buy-in and discussions. The Learning Commons planning team meets every other week in order to develop these concepts. This past year, we focused on technology streamlining. How can we kind of narrow down on the technology that we use in the back to communicate with one another, but then also use with students to refer to one another. And then we also kind of settled in what we call, this won't be the name that will be public, but what we call right now a triage model. That's the idea that Rebecca comes to the library. She's not sure, she knows the question she asked, but she's not sure who would service that question. She would have one place where she could go, and then that student or professional would help her, not only physically, if it's a matter of walking someone to another part of the building or even elsewhere on campus, but also digitally via a digital referral as well. That triage option will be open for students for as long as the library is open. And we're also adding more professional assistance till 7 o'clock on the weekdays and also Sundays as well to serve students as best as possible. We intend to present our full-fledged deck, the same one we did to the Academic Affairs Committee, to expanded cabinet in order to get feedback from the vice presidents as well. And prior to us being able to present to expanded cabinet, we would appreciate your feedback here via the QR code. And I'll pause there to answer any questions that you might have about this. Okay. I know you're short on time, so I don't want to last too long here, but just to highlight the course materials affordability that I think is important to everybody here. We had 14 more MSU faculty members participate in the OER learning circles. with the state system this spring. We had 2 Z degree awards presented. We're going to be really close to offering a complete no course materials cost degree in Spanish within the next few years. And the other big one that's coming down is special education. They're the ones who just received a degree. We have a OER specialist librarian coming in August to assist with these efforts. And Emily's been really helpful, along with a lot of other people, in putting together a university-wide textbook affordability advisory committee. And they're focused on professional development of faculty, but also the implementation of a course marking system. So we believe that we're going to experiment with a course marking system that you will see in the schedule with select departments in the spring of 2026. And there'll probably be 4 or 5 academic departments that will be experimenting with this to see how it works. And then we will roll it out more broadly. That means you'll see a notation that the course does not have any charges associated with course materials with it. Finally, just remember we have extended hours for finals that start on Sunday, April 27th, and that will run through Wednesday night of finals week. Not on Friday or Saturday, obviously, in between then, but certainly on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday, the week before finals, and then till Wednesday, the week of finals. So we're open till 2 in the morning on the first floor. Also, I'd like to bring to your attention, we are hosting the Undergraduate Research Symposium. Any of you presenting? Okay, awesome. Congratulations. That's April 24th. I really encourage all of you to come and support your classmates who are presenting their work. And also, if you have an idea that you might want to do this kind of work later on down the road, this is a really kind of non-scary way to kind of see what it's like. So there's lots of poster sessions, lots of opportunities for you to see what the students are doing. And then I also just wanted to remind you that the Holocaust exhibit is open until April 26th. So we've got it a couple more weeks here.
April 27th.
April 27th. Thank you, Emily. Appreciate it. Any questions?
Any questions? Great, seeing none, thank you so much for
Okay.
coming in.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty. So next, we don't have any presentations, but we're moving on to vacancies, and these are all vacancies for the 93rd student government because we're done after this. So there's a speaker, obviously, so this is the second week for speaker. Those applications are due next week, Tuesday by noon, so the 22nd by noon. If they come in afternoon, sorry, just consistent. And then that election will be on the 23rd, ran by President Nurala. And then there's also 3 open spots for residential life next year, 3 open spots for allied health and nursing, and then 1 spot for College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. So those are the open vacancies. Thank you for joining. So moving on into new business, we have the tuition banding consultation, and I will yield over to President Nurala and Vice President Jay.
Awesome. So folks, you guys heard from Vice President Gillespie about the proposed banding changes. From what the feedback we heard last week, we drafted up a letter as part of the consultation process, and we've also drafted up a rationale memo in terms of what to do about the student fees. We can break it down into 2 sections and see if there are any discussions before we vote on these. And I'd really love to hear your opinions as well as comments or any questions that we're able to address. The initial part that we want to talk about is the approval for changing of banding from 12 to 18 to be changed to 13 plus credit band. And I'd like to hear any thoughts.
Hello, this is Jessica.
I can yield to Jessica. Did you have a question?
Okay, sounds good.
I would mute them.
Are there any questions on this resolution? Or on the initial memo or anything? Or thoughts? Senator Miucci?
So just point of clarification, that means there's no limits to how many credits per semester someone can take?
No, there would still be limits in terms of academics, so you would still have to talk with your academic advisor if you're taking more than 18 credits. However, financially, if you're into the band of 13 plus credits, you would still be paying the same tuition if you're taking more than 18 credits.
Senator Riggle?
I've spoken to a number of students about this proposed change, and I've gotten some overwhelmingly positive support from the students that I've spoken to. So I think that it's a good idea.
Senator I.
Thank you for your time. During most of my RHA meetings, I brought this up during the last Senate liaison, and everybody that I had talked to actually really enjoyed this idea. It, in the long run, it makes it cheaper for students, and if you actually plan on taking more than 18 credits, which surprisingly there are actually a good amount of people that are planning on doing that, it makes it a lot cheaper, because before, if you took 19, 20, 21 credits, you'd have to pay individually. Now, it's still under that banded tuition, and they don't have to worry about, oh, can I afford this? They can just get their college dream and their college degree finished in the time that they deem as applicable. So I'm definitely for this resolution.
And then Senator Zelmer.
Would this mean that you have to take 13 credits to be considered a full-time student?
For federal aid regulations and for international students, no. The full-time students would still be 12 credits. However, if you want to get into the banding, that would start off at 13 credits.
Any other questions, thoughts, comments? Vice President Jay?
Just a quick comment on that as well, because we've gotten some questions about it. And this is one of the reasons that we decided to support this, Roshit and I. In order to get done with school in 4 years or 8 semesters, which is quite typical, a student would need to take 15 credits every semester in order to complete it in those 8 semesters or 4 years. And so this helps to push students a little bit closer to that 15, so they're not having to take summer classes, which can be quite expensive, so that they're not having to take extra semesters, which is also quite expensive. And to help show that taking that 15 is very much obtainable, but also helps them to get done in those 8 semesters if that's something they're wanting to do, if not earlier, like some of you have mentioned. So that was one of our considerations as well.
Any last minute thoughts? Senator Ide?
Hearing that, I'd just like to throw out some additional food for thought. Most students who would take 12 credits, say they'd take it for the 4 years they'd be here, they wouldn't be able to take, or like say 13, they wouldn't be able to take like a full banded semester at the end. So then they would be having to pay per credit. So this also ends up being cheaper for students who decide to go that route in the long run.
And then I'll talk about the second component, but first, if you look at the tuition proposals and the increased rates, and if you calculate the average out for students that stay at 12 credits, it's actually gonna be, it's not as impactful and a big of a tuition increase, even if you just stay at the 12 credits. So overall, the proposal is beneficial for all students as we've analyzed it on our end. That comment being said, I wanna move to the second component of what the letter talks about. As we're looking into tuition banding, there's also student fees end of things and how student fees are calculated. Currently, what you voted on as part of the 25-26 budget proposals was an estimation of the banding being at 12 credits. Moving forward, provided that the Board of Trustees approve the 13 plus credit banding and mention about 2 options that we could go to. We could either spread that total cost across the 13 credits, or we could add up that 13th credit. We've attached a rationale memo that talks about why we think spreading it across the 13 credits makes sense, and it's for a couple of different reasons. Particularly as we look at different fees, we have some fees that we've proposed to go to the fee caps, for instance, sustainability fee. That fee particularly would need to be spread across 13 credits. As we've talked with different students, they've highlighted the importance of keeping consistent and having student fees be predictable to the rates that they would total up to. And that has been a big priority for students. And so adding up that 13th credit would make changes to that total amount. And so hearing those feedbacks, we're endorsing a spreading across of the total student fees. Now, as we've talked with different departments, we've also identified that spreading it across the 13 credits would essentially potentially mean that there is less revenue generation. I do wanna highlight that this has been part of the conversations, and this has been something that we've extensively looked at. And there have been some measures that we've also looked at that might be potential solutions. We talked about online only students addition into the student fees. If you look at the letter, it talks about how there is a potential of additional 17,900 fee paying credit hours that could be added onto specific student fees that might help offset that loss of revenue if those fees are spread across 13 credits. We've also been in conversation with the upcoming student government leadership to talk about potential scenarios for next year, identifying that this potentially could be a 1-year makeup that we would need to do next year in order to help different departments catch up and ensure that we're still committed to funding them to the level that we've been at if there is a shortfall in revenue generation. So that has been parts of those conversations. We've identified all of those different things, and we're proposing that the student fees then be distributed across the 13 credits instead of an addition of the 13th credit. But we'd be more than happy to hear what your thoughts are as you've been talking with students and any questions that you might have. I'll yield to Ben first.
Any questions or comments about this like per credit thing with the fees? Senator Colleran?
I yield to redundancy to President Narala and completely endorse this. I believe it does make sense that we stay consistent with the fees that we have been voting on over the budget meeting, even though there has been a banning change.
Senator Livingston?
Call the question.
The question's been called.
Second.
There is a second. Alrighty, is there any dissent to voting on this? Alrighty, seeing none, we will go into voting. People on Zoom, if you approve of this, say yes. If you don't, say no or abstain. Everybody else in the room, either by raise of hand or placards. If you are for this, please raise them up loud and proud. Alrighty. Our folks on Zoom, if we can get your votes in. Alrighty, and this has passed 25-0-1. Yay! Alrighty, so moving on, those are only things for new business, so the last time moving on to old business. I didn't. Sorry. We have our resolution for feedback and improved technology objectives for FY '26. I will yield to Senator Maba or Senator Maega, either one of you, if you want any additional comments or anything on this resolution.
No additional comment, just want to make sure that everybody understands that these are the objectives for fiscal year '26 for IT solutions. So it's just a bunch of recommendations from previous tech committee members on the changes they wanna see in IT solutions for upcoming years.
Alright. Senator Maba, anything else to add? If not, it's okay.
Nothing else, right?
Alrighty, is there any other points of discussion or anything, or any questions on this? President Nurala?
I can make a comment. I do wanna thank the two of you and all of the members of the committee, and I also wanna thank Brian for the support. Thank you for all of the work that you've done as you've identified the tech fee objectives and as you've proposed the technology fee a couple weeks ago. I'm in support of the resolution.
Any other comments or anything? Seeing none, I'll look for any motion. Senator Hillstead?
Call to question.
Second.
There's been a second. Is there any dissent to the call to question? Already seeing none, so we'll do the same process of last time. All those in favor of this resolution, please raise your placard or your hands, and then people on Zoom, if you can vote yes, no, or abstain. Alrighty. People on Zoom. Alrighty, so this one has passed, same as last time, 25-01. We can clap for all of these. Might as well. Alrighty, our next resolution is the resolution to recognize the efforts of CIS, faculty and staff, also by Senator Maega and Senator Maba. If you guys have any additional comments, I'll yield to you two.
Yeah, we just want to thank the CS department for their ongoing efforts despite challenges they've been facing, such as limited course offerings, scheduling complexities, and also faculty retirement. And we want to encourage the university to provide additional institutional support to department like CIS that face structural staffing and scheduling challenges. And we also like to thank them for their clear communication with students as well.
Senator Mamba, do you have anything else to add? If not, that's okay.
I couldn't have said it better. Nothing else to add.
Alrighty. Any comments or anything on this resolution? Senator Riggle?
As a student in the CIS department, I wholeheartedly agree with this resolution and support its passage.
Alrighty, Senator Livingston?
Motion to call the question.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm gonna go with Dietrich. Alrighty.
The chair was unstable, I'm sorry.
Mark,
We are,
I'm gonna send him a bill.
alrighty, we are gonna get into this now. Any dissent to the motion? Alrighty, seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please raise your hand or placard, and people on Zoom vote yes, no, or abstain. Alrighty, people on Zoom. Alrighty, that resolution has passed 25-0 to 1. Yay! Alrighty, moving on to our next resolution is the resolution to increase graduate assistant stipends. And for this one, I will also yield to Senator Maega and Senator Reyes if they have any last points on this one.
Yes, we encourage all of you to support these resolutions because our GAs do a lot on this campus. They teach, they do research, and they also assist a lot of departments as well. So the current base is 10,000, and we recommend that the university budget submit create a GA workshop to ensure that graduate assistants are also part of the discussions for GA assistantships compensation. And we recommend a $1,200 increase to the current base stipend, which is gonna bring it to 17.5 hourly compensation.
Anything to add, Senator Reyes?
No, that's pretty much it. The only thing I wanna add is that this also allows us to stay competitive on the market, especially when the universities are struggling to get graduate assistants to teach, to do all these things that they do. So this bump is not only beneficial for them and like their livelihood, but also for the university.
Thank you. President Rowland?
I do want to thank the work of two of our senators that did this work. We started working on this resolution since January, and they've been in different meetings with students, with different faculty members, directors of departments. They've been in meetings with Steve Smith to look at the budget impact, and they've also researched different graduate compensations, not just across the system, but also at other institutions across Minnesota and outside of the state. I do want to thank you for the work that you've done and the research work that you've put into this resolution. As we started working on this resolution to recommend an increase, we also identified that the university already has a 3-year policy of reviewing these graduate stipends. And what we were able to get out from that was that the university next year is going to be on that cycle to review graduate assistantships. And that is why we thought it'd be really helpful if we created a framework and provided it over as part of the work that we did this semester to support our graduate students. So I do want to thank you all, and I'll be voting in favor of this resolution.
Thank you. I don't know, Senator Livingston?
I also want to voice my support for this resolution. I want to echo what Senator Reyes said. If we want to stay competitive on attracting top talent, and also what I heard in committee last week really struck me was that some of these GAs are teaching, are doing full-time teaching. And I mean, I think that in itself, I think warrants a discussion about how much we pay and value our GAs. And I want to, endorse this resolution.
Senator Colleran?
Yeah, I just want to echo what's being said right now. Like, grad assistants are a significant part of the university, and making sure that they are compensated and valued part of this university would be really good for the following academic years. I want to say thank you to Senator Reyes and Senator Maega for taking on this project and doing a really good job with it.
Senator Hillstead?
Call to question.
Is there a second?
Second.
Was that Senator Franzen? I am shook. Alrighty. Is there any dissent to the call to question? Alrighty, seeing no dissent, then we will move on into voting. All those in favor of this resolution, please raise your placards or your hand. Alrighty. Alrighty, we got our Zoom count. Any opposed, any abstentions? No, great. This one has passed unanimously. So, hey, congratulations. Alrighty, our next resolution is a resolution on campus, the resolutions for on-campus response to ICE-related activity. I will yield to Senator Ide, and I know Senator Permins is on Zoom, so he'll probably just yield to redundancy, but Senator Ide. Oh wait, that's not you.
Yeah, that's
This is
Reyes.
and
I'd raise an item.
I'm the second.
and Ide, sorry. I knew one of you were on there. but yeah.
Yeah, not much to add, and that I didn't say like it last week or anything. I echo a lot of what Cole said as well. They've been really helpful in like giving feedback on this resolution, and I think that like we talked about last week, the resolution is big on one, education, but also two, perceptually. Like we understand that like earlier in the congressional session, earlier in the year, we passed a DEI resolution acknowledging the challenges to DEI, but as a university stand and safeguard of those policies to be like, hey, we still support this, and I think this is a similar vein in that realm. So we want to say with our international community that we support them in any way possible, and if we have questions about the specifics, then that wasn't already answered, I'd be happy to go over them again.
Any other comments from Senator Hyde?
Yielded everything he said it better than I could.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or discussion, Senator Dietrich?
I just want to echo that I am in full support of this resolution. I believe that in addition to what student government and the university has already done, there is always more room for us to improve and show our support for our international students, especially given what's been going on. I think that not only is this beneficial in a symbolic way, but it will push us even to push the envelope even further with what we're already doing. And so I fully support this resolution.
Thank you. Senator Livingston?
I also want to endorse this resolution as well. I want to thank Cole for coming in here and like clarifying some things, and giving his remarks. I really appreciate that. I also want to thank Senator Reyes and Senator Hyde for this bill. I think it's so important that we stand behind international students, given how much benefit they bring to this campus. I think it's so important to stand behind them, and it's the least we can do. There's so much more work ahead, but this is just the start. So I really appreciate the work, and I would encourage green light or green. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk. I would encourage a yes vote on this resolution.
Thanks. Senator Colleran?
Yes, I would like to wholeheartedly support this resolution. I've talked to so many students already about the situation happening in this university and making sure that the envelope is being pushed further and we continue to address this situation would be wonderful. I think it would be great that this would be a really good start to that.
Senator Zelmer?
I would also like to voice my support for this resolution. I think that giving out more information to students on what their rights are is essential. And then also with kind of giving a backbone to the student or to the university's policy around gives more information to the students knowing what they have to protect them.
Senator Riggle?
Motion to call the question?
Second.
Too bad, so sad you missed it. Second by Senator Livingston. Is there any dissent to calling the question? Seeing none, the question has been called. So we will move into voting, same process as before. So all those in favor, please raise your placard or your hand for this resolution. And people on Zoom, you can send in a yes, no, or abstain vote. Alrighty, any opposed? And any abstentions? Alrighty. Alright, the resolution has passed 24-0-1. Thank you all. Alrighty, moving on to our last resolution is the resolution to increase intercollegiate athletics access to the general student body. Just so you all know, the amended resolution is in there, and then I will yield to Senator Ide and Prignance to talk about those amendments to the resolution, but you should all pull it up to look at it.
All right, everybody. So just for a little clarification on that too, the document just wasn't sent out due to some documentation errors, but it's in both the team's general chat and then for the Senate, and then also the resolution. So But hello, everybody. Hope y'all are having a good day. I have met with the athletics department to ensure that my resolution was not only up to standards with the student government, but also the standards of the athletics department. The amended document is not, but to keep it short, essentially, the changes that have been made are of the following. The resolution is now suggestive, and the verbiage has been changed to recommend things, and it's not trying to like force them to do anything. Additionally, further clarification has been described to what support may mean for those support programs, specifically the addition of cords and stoles for the programs that are in athletics that are not recognized as student athletes. And finally, after meeting with the athletics department, I found that they're actually working on a strategic plan for the following years up to 2030. So I changed some of the wording in the document to address the existence of this strategic plan and to also give some additional aid to how their plan may line up to the plans in the resolution. A larger amendment document will be made in the next few days to kind of show the exact changes between the last resolution and this one. But for now, everything that I have highlighted in the new document is what has been amended. If you have any questions, please raise them to me and I'll do my best to answer them. That's all I have to say. Yes, Ian, something to add.
Ian, if you have anything to
Yield to
add.
redundancy.
Yield to redundancy, perfect. Also, just so y'all know, before we vote on the resolution as a whole, we have to vote on the amendments and then vote on the resolution. Yeah. Oh, friendly amendment? I'm just kidding, we don't have to. Any comments, Senator Riggle?
Just looking through the resolution document, I think that there's still some changes that should be made to the wording of the resolution. It still says the athletics department will take ample things, which we can't tell the athletics department what to do. And like, even though you went through and talked with the athletics department, I think just for student government's sake and the policies that we have as student government and what we're capable of doing, we should just edit it to make sure it's a little bit clearer as to what we're trying to get at here. So.
John?
Alright, John, you've been yielded to.
I was just gonna ask, can you please clarify where in Teams the amended resolution is? The ones I'm seeing in there are still from last week.
Yeah, so I sent it in the general, the general posts.
Oh, it's in the post. No, okay, I was looking in the Teams folder.
It's also in the Teams folder under agendas, under April 16th, and it's like the first one that pops up as a PDF.
You'll do redundancy.
Senator Karki?
Thank you. I really appreciate the changes that you've made after the discussions as well. Just a comment to the upcoming student government leadership, and because there will be a new athletics advisory committee, the fee objectives is something that they would kind of have to work on, so just recommending to prioritize those discussions as the upcoming year comes along.
And Senator Dietrich?
First, I just want to say thank you to Trenton and to Senator Ide and Senator Prignitz for all of the work that they've put into this. However, I'm going to have to agree with Senator Riggle that there are still some changes I would see needing to be made. Additionally, this is the type of thing I think would be it would be prudent of us to have a bigger discussion about it, not only as a group, but in-depth discussions with the student athletic committee as well as the athletics department. And I don't really see why we would need to push this through during this Senate when it could potentially be a good starting point for next year's Senate.
Senator Ide?
Well, I understand where you're coming from with that specific comment. I will additionally mention that this is not like something that's been new to the student government. A resolution has been passed similar to this in a past student government with the theater group, the theater department that came, and it was kind of done. This was done with that in mind. So this resolution was written with that in mind. I looked at kind of what we requested of the theater department when we decided to give them funds and say, all right, then if we're gonna decide to do this, we wanna see this, this, and this. So I took that kind of in mind when I was writing this, so while I understand that it's kind of a late resolution, I'd also say that it's something that's been done and it's not something foreign to the student government, so.
Senator Livingston?
Just to clarify, I think you're referencing the conditional, the condition we sent to theater, or that SAC sent to theater a while back. That was, sorry,
President Narala.
I'll leave it to President Narala.
Did you say SAC? That was student government.
Oh, sorry. Okay, but it was conditional to receive their funding. Like, this is a separate piece. I would encourage, like, what Senator Dietrich is saying, that I would encourage us to be tagged onto some kind of funding to put some more, I agree with the messaging. I think we could put some more teeth into it, possibly attach it to funding, making that funding conditional, you know what I mean?
President Narala?
I definitely agree that there is a potential for wording changes that we could do. And let's see if we can work this out. I make a motion to amend the first be it resolved to state Student Senate recommends the athletic department strike the will, take ample and intentional measures to better align with its mission statement and strategic planning goals.
Second.
That has been seconded. So yeah, I will repeat that. So right now, looking at the first be it resolved, it says, currently it says the athletic department will take ample and intentional measures to better align with its mission statement and strategic planning goals. The amendment brought forth by President Narala and Senator Livingston is that student government recommends, Student Senate recommends athletics department take out the will, so strike will, so Student Senate recommends athletics department take ample and intentional measures to better align with its mission and strategic planning goals. Is there any comment on that? Senator Ide?
I'm for that. Anything that needs to be amended to get this passed through, I'm willing. I had a death of a close family member recently, close family friend, so if anything was overviewed, I'd apologize for that. I've just had kind of a busy mind recently, so I'm definitely for that amendment.
Any other comments on this one? We do have to vote amendment by amendment, just so you all know.
Call the question on the amendment.
And there's a second. Alrighty, so all those in favor also do the raise hand placard on the first amendment. Alrighty, and Zoom. Alrighty, so that amendment has passed. So that's the new amendment in there that states Student Senate recommends athletic department take out the will. Anything else? Are there any other amendments you wanna make on the spot to this resolution?
I
President
do wanna
Narala.
yield to John if you did you have something?
Senator Zelmer?
I motion to amend in the third be it resolved for the highlighted section to say such as graduation stoles and cords.
Second.
Second, so. Alrighty. Any discussion points on that? So I can read that again. So the full thing, requesting that intercollegiate athletics recognize and support affiliated spirit and performance groups that contribute to the game day experience and school pride, such as but not limited to the cheer team and the dance team and math machine. And then be such as graduation stoles and cords. So that would be the thing. So it's just that language change is stoles and cords. Any discussion on this? Senator Hillstead?
Call the question on that amendment.
There's been a second. Any dissent to that amendment? Alrighty, seeing none, we'll do the same thing. All those in favor of the amendment, raise your hands. People on Zoom. Oh, alrighty, put them down. Any no's? Any abstentions? Alrighty, that one has also passed with that new amendment. Are there any other amendments to the resolution that you all want to adopt on the spot? 1 second. Senator Ide?
Point of clarification, is that something that I should amend right now, or is that something that you guys are doing on your end? Like editing the document?
We're editing it.
Okay, sounds good.
We don't have the Word document. It's only the PDF version.
Okay.
But you can send us the Word document.
When I posted the amendment,
It was a PDF.
it's a PDF? I shared it as a
It opens
Word
up
doc.
as a doc.
Oh, it
Yeah.
opened up as a Word document. Alright, there we go. Yep, they're amending it as we go.
Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Senator Dietrich?
Motion to table due to the fact that we have 6 minutes.
Second.
Can't.
I have a motion for an amendment.
Okay, we're just gonna finish it because we're like mid-amendment. But we'll try to get everything else done as soon as possible. Vice President Jay.
Okay. We would also like to add, be it resolved, the Student Senate provides the responsibility to create fee objectives for intercollegiate athletics responsibilities to the Athletic Fee Advisory Fee Committee.
Second.
And then that was a second from Livingston. And then I'm gonna have Vice President Jay speak on this.
So mainly what this would mean is that the Athletic Fee Advisory Committee would help to put all the information that we're asking them to provide together and then present that information to us when it comes budget season, if they would be coming in to present to us, which they always do every year. So it just brings in that task force to help put all this information together and then present it to us, so we're being able to see it presented.
Any questions or anything on that amendment?
Call to question. Call to question? Second.
Senator Zelmer. Alrighty. Do the same thing. All those in favor, raise your hands or placards. Alrighty. Same motion for any opposed. And then same motion for any abstentions. Alrighty, thank you. So that amendment has been approved. And then Senator Hillstead.
Motion to amend on the last be it resolved, intercollegiate athletic leadership shall meet and provide, student government shall recommend intercollegiate leadership shall provide and meet and provide a comprehensive update to any student, to the student senate each semester. So in just that highlighted part, so. Yeah. So student government, student senate recommends intercollegiate athletic leadership shall meet and provide a comprehensive update to the student.
Okay, so striking out coaches and just adding leadership.
Yep.
Alrighty, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Zelmer. Any comments or anything on this part, Senator Ide?
Just it's kind of a devil's in the details thing. When I talked to the athletics team, they kind of specified coaches because saying leadership, it's not as exact as like who could be coming. They specifically said coaches, as these are the people that are dealing with each of these teams on a day-to-day basis. And specifying coaches really gets to the point of like, this is who we're talking about. These are the people running these groups, so we can talk to them specifically.
BPJ?
With this recommended language, it would allow for any leadership to be able to come in. Coaches would be involved with that. However, I don't think we need to specify groups. I think the language is broad enough that any groups would be able to come in that would be deemed leadership and necessary for whatever conversations and questions we're having at the time.
Senator Zelmer?
I do still think that it should be changed from coaches because as VPJ had said, they can come in at time, but this doesn't detail, this just says that all coaches basically it could be seen as all coaches for every single one of our intercollegiate teams would have to come in and speak to us every single semester, where that can be very kind of cumbersome for an agenda, and if a leadership member of who can kind of associate a bunch of those groups in one could give that information, that'd be a lot better.
Senator Livingston,
Call the question, Senator Hillstead's amendment.
ready? Is there a second? Second by Smith. Alrighty. Is there any dissent to the call into question? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment by changing coaches to leadership? Alrighty, any opposed? And then any abstentions? Alrighty, that amendment has passed. Are there any other last amendments that you all have? Alrighty, seeing that all these amendments have been approved, they will be updated in the Word document and posted and also be sent to the president. So now with those amendments, that is now the whole new resolution. Is there any final points for this resolution? Senator Ide.
Motion to call the question.
The question has been called. Is there a second?
Second.
Alrighty, second. Any dissent to that motion? Alright, seeing none, all those in favor also raise your placards or your hands with the resolution. You're in favor of the resolution? Alrighty, any opposed? And any abstentions? Y'all made the motion. That was the dumbest thing ever. And I will gladly say that. Alrighty. That resolution has been passed either way, so yay. President Nurala.
Congratulations, folks. We've all completed all of the motions and resolutions that we have had. We'll have a final count. There is so much of resolutions that we lost the count. We got to like 12 or 11, and then we just lost count. But anyways, in respect of time and recognizing that you will hear from all three of us in a couple minutes downstairs, and if it's all right with all of the senators that have written reports, that is senator reports that would be okay writing written reports in, I make a motion to skip officer reports, skip senator reports, skip announcements?
Give John one announcement.
Yeah, skip officer reports and senator reports.
Is there a second?
Second.
Alright, any dissent to that motion? I don't see any dissent, so that has been approved. So right into announcements, John.
Congratulations again, Senate. It's been a pleasure working with you, and congrats on making it to your last meeting. Just to give you an update on where things are process-wise with the fees now, with this letter regarding the banding and the distribution of fees, the recommendations will now go to Dr. Jones for his support and the president's approval. That was the step that was needed, was Senate's stance on the distribution of the fees. So that's the next step. And then we will have board approval hopefully in May or June. So that's where we will go. Also wanted to give an update on the Maverick Shop Student Government Leadership Awards. That has been part of the bookstore contract for several years, something that David Cowan has helped to secure. And in previous years, that has been given as $500 awards that are used as a bookstore credit. And it's been hard to track. It's just been a little bit of a mess. And so we've made a transition to where those are awarded as scholarships. Those recipients have been determined and they were notified. They will be publicly announced at the inauguration ceremony here in a bit. And some of them, some of the names will be very familiar to you. So congratulations to those, and thanks to David and to Chris Brockman, the manager of the bookstore, for helping to make this process more sensible, I guess. We did have a record number of applicants for that award. Let's put it this way, in previous years, the largest number we'd had is 26. This year we had 118. And so good numbers for those awards, and those people will be publicly recognized. So again, congratulations. I look forward to celebrating you with your banquet and downstairs as well. Oh, and last thing, sorry, we do have 2 more finalists on campus for the Student Activities Assistant Director position. There are open forums tomorrow at 2:15 and Monday at 2:15 for those candidates.
And then Rosha yields to you, Mark, if you had any announcements.
I'd like the minutes to reflect that April 16th, 2025 is the day that Senator Hillstat fell on his butt during the student government.
Thank you so much for that announcement, Lauren. We will reflect that in the minutes.
Take a bow, take a bow.
Alrighty, President Narala.
What a great way to end Senate. Definitely second the addition to the minutes. Senate, we just finished our calculations. Y'all have passed a total of, drumroll, resolutions this year.
28.
So, congratulations for all of the work that you did. Thank you so much for all of the support that you provided. April 30th, end of year banquet. I wanna see all of you there.
Free food.
And the 3 of our retirement.
Yes. Alrighty, with no more announcements, we are going to go for the last and final time of the 92nd Student Government into final roll call. Senator Leon is on Zoom, Senator Cranston, Senator Miucci, Senator Prignitz, Zoom, Senator Emke, Zoom, Senator Ponte, Senator Bugney, Senator Reyes,
Here.
Senator Maega,
Here.
Senator Thapa on Zoom, Senator Mpenga,
Here.
Senator Lee,
Here.
Senator Dietrich,
Here.
Senator Smith,
Here.
Senator Green, Senator Johnson,
Here.
Senator Moore,
Here.
Senator Maba, Senator Knauer, Senator Karki, Senator Livingston, Senator Riggle, Senator Colleran, Senator Ide, Senator Zelmer,
Present.
Senator Hillstead,
Present.
Senator Isaac. I'm here for the last time, President Narala,
Present.
and for the last time, Vice President Jay. And for the last time, we are adjourned at 5:04 p.m. Let's all head down to the inauguration. Okay, see everybody at inauguration downstairs.
Yes,
You are
it
new,
is.
if you are got elected, you are have to be there. Ben, can you end the live? Can you end the Zoom on there?
Okay, I have to go print off that.
Yep, you're good.
Mark.
Is mine?